Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison Chwara. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is truly dedicated to creating happier and healthier nations, communities, societies all around. Not everything, not what everyone expects, but something specific, something weighty, something unassigned is what I'm going to talk about today. You know, when you sit with that truth and you have this understanding that is so clear that says, I am here to finish something. And when you begin to understand that, leadership starts to look very different. Because true leadership is not influence. I always say this, it's a responsibility that is tied to completion. So thank you very much for joining me once again. And I just want us to ease into this gently. There was a man, if you can allow me, called Nehemiah, who did not set out to be a leader in the traditional sense that we know. But he was not necessarily campaigning for this position either. He was not trying to build a name for himself, or he wasn't trying to create a brand as we call it now today. He was just responding to a burden. And that is where destiny-led leaderships often begins. That is where destiny-led leaders always find themselves, not with ambition, but just simply being aware that I have a burden that I must respond to. Now, this gentleman, he had seen something that looked broken. Others saw it too, but he could not stand to see it any longer, and he could not unsee it. He could not detach himself from the burden, the brokenness, and in that moment, leadership found him when he was least looking for it. Because you see, leadership in its truest form is not about being followed either. It's about being entrusted with something. It's about being entrusted with a vision. It's about being entrusted with an opportunity to take on a responsibility. It's about being entrusted with an outcome that must be delivered, not just to be discussed, not just to be congregated about and go to networks, but to actually deliver and create outcomes. And so Nehemiah's journey began to build. You see, here's where it becomes really relevant to you. Because you may ask, Dr. Alison, why are we even talking about Nehemiah today? And this is where it becomes really relevant to today's leadership, to boardrooms that we are sitting in, to governments, to founders, to visionaries that are trying to find and navigate the way through so many complex situations that the world finds itself today. Nehemiah did not just start the work. He organized it too. He mobilized people. He positioned individuals according to proximity and strength. He turned vision into structure. And that is what leadership is about. It's about execution. Inspiration, dreams alone don't create leaders. It's about execution. And along the way, there were voices, of course. There was distraction. There was invitations to step away from his assignment. There was even criticisms. People saying, come down off that pedestal. That's not for you. But his response was, I am doing a great job and I cannot step down. You see, there's a discipleship that sits within leadership that is often misunderstood. And that discipleship requires discipline of staying on the wall, discipline on staying on the course, because when you are destiny assigned, everything will try to negotiate your focus. Everyone will try to negotiate your pathway, and opportunities that look attractive may be completely misaligned. People who require explanations you were never meant to give, those people will stand in the way when you're destiny assigned. There will be moments that tempt you to pause when you are meant to continue on the path. I hope I'm speaking to somebody today. And here's a philosophical truth beneath it all. Not every opportunity is yours to accept. I said it at the start of this podcast when I spoke about the power and the strength of no. The authority that sits in no. Not everything requires a yes. Not every good idea is yours to carry. My partner always reminds me that. And not every voice is yours to answer. There will be distractions along the way of your destiny assignment. There will be people that will try to advise you otherwise and negotiate your parts. And that is why it is important that not every voice is yours to answer. Destiny leaders are very selective in nature. When you're a destiny aligned leader, you become intentional about what you want. You begin to understand the dilution that can come in the path of your completion. Now, I want us to step a little further here. There's a moment in history when completion is literally captured in it. I want to believe in its most simplest and most powerful form through the Bible, not in miracles, not in the crowds, but in the closing of an assignment. When the Almighty said, "It is finished," and whether one approaches that statement with faith or philosophy or pure reflection, or just literally within the words, "it is finished," it carries a universal leadership principle, I believe. Finish what you were sent to do. Because leadership is not measured by how much you start. It is measured by what you complete. Oh gosh, I hope I'm speaking to somebody today, because there are moments in your leadership journey when assignments almost look like they will not complete. This assignment is far too long. Is this really for me? Is this journey for me? And you will question. But it's understanding. When is it that you say it is finished? And this is where many leaders struggle. Yes, they are visionary. Oh yes, they are very capable and they are very admired. But they are so stretched across too many beginnings. I was one of those. Too many beginnings and too few completions. And so your impact as a leader becomes fragmented and less visible. Let me breathe this into a kind of maybe more human frame, if you like. I want to take on an idea of there was a leader who would have only known brilliance. And ideas flew like as if, they just dreamt them, effortless. People gathered when they spoke. Momentum was always at the edge of things happening. But there was a pattern. Yes, projects will begin and then pause. Visions will be launched and then shifted. Momentum will be built and then dissolved. I too, perhaps, can reflect and say I was one of those. And over time, people will start asking, what's next? And they'll ask, would this be finished? You see, trust in leadership is not built on charisma. It is built on consistency and completion. So when we speak of being destiny assigned, we are not speaking abstract terms. We are literally speaking about alignment between who you are, what you carry, and what you must be brought to completion through you. What must be brought to completion through you? Do you see how important you are? There are things you encounter in life that are not random. That idea that keeps returning, it's not random. That sector you keep being drawn into, it's not by accident. That problem you keep finding yourself positioned to solve, it is not an error. That all of this is not coincidence, it is alignment. And leadership, when understood, becomes really less about control and about discipleship and stewardship, stewarding your time, your focus, and what you're assigned to do. Because here's something that I would like for you to sit with. You do not need to do everything well. I've learned it in my 40s now. You do not need to do everything well, but you must finish what was given to you faithfully. And I understand, because I've studied human behavior long enough, that finishing can feel isolating, that it can feel like you're carrying something others do not fully see yet. It can feel like you are just carrying the wind. It can feel like persistent without immediate reward. But I want to tell you, completion has a language of its own. It speaks impact. It speaks response. It speaks outcomes. And it speaks in opening doors, not just for you, but for those connected to your obedience, to your assignment, those that are connected to your networks. So perhaps today is not about asking, what else can I start? Absolutely not. It is about asking, what am I meant to finish? What remains pending? Where have I been distracted? Where have I come down from the wall too soon? Because there's something powerful about a leader who understands the assignment and honors it to its completion. And when that kind of leader finishes, believe me, it does not just mark the end of a task. It marks the fulfillment of purpose. I pray that you find fulfillment in the purpose that you are aligned to. I hope that your leadership does not stand with too many pendings without completion. And I will ask you once more, what is it that you're meant to finish that you haven't paid attention to? Where have you come down too quickly when you knew you were doing a good job and you just needed time? Where have you been distracted to the point that you have left some jobs undone? And where has the language of completion spoke for you through outcomes, through impact, through the responses, the seats that you've been invited to, through the doors that are opening not just for you but for others? May this season be your season of impact. May this be your season where you say, I am here to finish something. Not everything, but something. From me to you, from Human Focus Limited to your organization, to your households, to your boardrooms, it's goodbye for now. Until next time. Ciao for now.